We never did more than a couple of takes on any of it. It was more or less a 2-day record. It went by so fast. Skylar and Hammer record the music was recorded live and was not edited or fixed in any way afterwards. So what you heard was them just playing it.
Hey, what's up, party people? Welcome back to another episode of the Audiophiles. It's Andy, it's John, it's music. And we are going to be listening to a song, as we are wont to do here at the Audiophiles. One that John is going to be offering up to the class. John, artist, song, what have you got?
Okay, so I've got a track from a chap called Billy Cobham. Now, it might sound to you like he's a dissident Irish Republic freedom fighter, but no, he is a musician. Have you heard from our Billy? No.
It does sound like Northern Ireland.
So, have you heard of the musician Billy Cobham?
No, I haven't.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, well, excellent then. This track is called Stratus.
Stratus. Okay. Billy Cobham, Stratus. I will endeavor to listen to this and come back and let you know what I think. Hey, more driving bass. I like it. Okay, we're like $1.20 into this, and I love it. You got this. I don't know. It's almost like jam bandy type stuff. Obviously very like jazz derived, in its sound. Got a little funk in there too. Those guitars are killing it. I absolutely love how they're playing off one another, doing their own little things and making it work together. That driving bass is great. Love the keys. Love these drums. Like, it's checking all of the boxes, and we've yet to hear a singer or a lick of vocals. And if it were to go on the rest of the song without any of them, I would be fine. This is just great music, and it's really, really tickling my fancy here. guitar. Oh, that was so goddamn good. I'm not gonna take it back, but my god, that guitar was so good. Um, it was just like all over the place. I'm getting like Steve Vai vibes from the guitar playing, but there's this like weird acid jazzy shit that's happening in the background. Sort of like the rhythm section of it all. God damn, it's so good and interesting. Um, yeah, God, that last minute and 50 seconds went by like it was a blink of an eye. But man, that shit was good. That bass, that rolling bass underneath of it, and it started to go up on the neck a little bit. Oh my god, that sounds so good. It all comes back to this, the constant. That snare. Yeah, that was a trip. Um, shades of like other bands like jam bands, you know what I mean? Like I'm hearing like Mo or the String Cheese Incident. Yeah, maybe like some Humphreys McGee. This is that, but with some other stuff happening in there as well. But it's so interesting. It's so goddamn good. And at the beginning, I said, well, at the beginning, at the minute and 20-second mark, I said, if there were no vocals at all, I would be fine. And I am fine. This was great. This is a really enjoyable listen. I could definitely see put it, when someone says put this on background, it's at like as background music, it sounds like an insult, like you don't want to, but man, this is like you could just put it on and I could listen to this song on repeat for 40 minutes while performing a chore or a task around the house and just pop it on my earbuds, and this would do me right. I don't know, it's just so interesting to hear all these movements. That snare assault at the end was had almost as much fervor as the lead guitar assault earlier in the song. Just a lot of really, really good musicianship, well crafted, well mixed. I really love, and that harkens to how those guitars played off each other so well throughout the song. Um, Really, really, really enjoyed this song a lot, and I will, in all likelihood, be downloading this and adding it to my rotation because yeah, this is a lot of fun. All right, I don't know anything about this Billy Cobham character. John's gonna help me with that. Only one way to expedite that, and that's to get back to him. So let's go.
So you returned.
I am
Any
back.
surprises?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was. There was some surprises there. For starters, this is just another one of Uncle John's instrumental home runs, that you tend to offer up every now and again. Every instrumental that you give me, I fucking love. And I'm just about all your songs that you've offered up, I like to varying degrees. But man, there's something about these instrumentals that just take you on a ride that I always sink their teeth into me, and it was just a ton of fun to listen to. I don't have a shitload of notes because this is one of those ones where, like, I think you've had this experience before. The music is just washes over you, and you sort of just get lost in the sauce listening to it and loving it. Which instantly means I need to hear this several more times and intend to, right? Because I think that there's so much more that I can extrapolate from this on further listens. Um, it's like this really intriguing amalgam of acid jazz and jam band music. That's what I got from this. It's sort of like it's got that jam bandy nature where it just kind of goes off on its little tangents. But it's clearly rooted in some, like, I say acid jazz, modern jazzy type sounds, both of which are clearly derived from traditional jazz. And perhaps the one thing that they pull from that is this improvisational, extended musical bits, motifs and features that fit throughout the song. You have this in spades with this song, which is why both those subgenres that are otherwise very disparate come to mind when I listen to this. Um, the organ and the guitar play off one another so well, while the bass and the drums share a similar kind of kindred spirit that the organ and the guitar do, in that they work in tandem to really create this great driving rhythm beneath all of the fun flourishes done by the more melodic instruments. There's this fervent, almost spastic nature to the drum rolls and splashes, and this manic lead guitar work during the entire second and third minute of this track. And I say entire second and third as if you really feel all 120 seconds of that, when, and frankly, it moves so quickly. It could have gone on for several more minutes, and I wouldn't have, like, it wouldn't have, like, caught my attention as being something that was overplayed or overdone. Um, and it's really it's just unavoidable. You listen to it and you just lose yourself in those 2 minutes. You lose yourself in the whole fucking song, really. But those 2 minutes really just that's when I most felt like the music was just washing over me, and I couldn't keep up with anything other than to say I loved everything everyone did in those 2 minutes. And at the I guess the exact 4 minute mark, you get this fleeting sound of friction that almost is like someone shushing you loudly. And it really caught my attention for something that was so fleeting. Like, I'm talking seconds, 2, 3 seconds, and it was in there and gone. And then the guitar continues to noodle away, almost like a laser gun that would fire from some sort of sci-fi spacecraft. And just around the 5:05 marker, that frictious sound from the 4 minute mark makes a return, but it's produced in such a way where it like phases in and out of the musical frame, and again, it's gone before you know it. And there is some awesome bit of syncopation work toward the latter portion of the 5th minute and into the 6th minute, where the organ, the guitar, and the drums are all working together to place like the same motif, with little bits of variation here and there, but they're really on top of each other, and it just sounds so good. It's layered so nicely, and the drums do all this rapid fire hitting of the snares like gunfire, and the song finally fades to its completion. But it was just a fun ride, and it reminded me of like so many jam bands, and some of the stuff that I listened to in my college days, like Humphreys McGee, or the String Cheese Incident, or Mo, a band that I've showed you on Into the Music. They just do a lot of this, like these sessions within the song that are just these jamming escapades of music, that then somehow and quite seamlessly fall into a new portion of the song where they do kind of a similar thing, and run with it musically, and kind of exhaust what they can out of it like an oil well. Then once it goes dry, they move on to the next. It's just a great song. I could listen to this over and over again, and in all likelihood will.
Coolio. All right, this is a really interesting song, album, band, stroke members. Reason I picked this twofold. One is that it doesn't seem that you picked up on it, which is cool because you only listened to the other one once, but the bass line and the drums from this are the basis for the Massive Attack song we listened to recently, Safe from Harm.
And you know what's
And it,
funny is that they're both, like, I can see that now because they're both this driving constant, beneath, or over top of which the other instruments kind of do their thing. So yeah, I could see that now that you mention it. Yeah.
but in the Massive Attack one, it is kind of like the main theme, bringing it forwards.
Yes.
Whereas in this one, it's just one layer of the cake
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
other stuff's so amazing. Um, Interesting enough, I mean, it's the album. Billy Cobham, he's the drummer, he's the leader, but he's so generous because the drumming is fucking exceptional in this. But he doesn't do a 3 minute drum solo, like other drummers would, just to show, look, here I'm the boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really generous, and the other players in this are just unbelievable, and it's really interesting. But I'll get into it. So from start, William Emmanuel Cobham Jr. He was born in 1944 in Panama, and moved to New York City when he was 3. He started playing drums at the age of 4, and later on he went to the New York City High School of Music and Art, which I believe is quite a prestigious place.
Mhm.
He was drafted in 1965 and then played with the US Army Band for the next 3 years.
Mhm.
After his discharge, he was a house musician for Atlantic Records and a session musician for the likes of George Benson, Milt Jackson, and Grover Washington Jr., which, if you're not familiar with, I might give you one of his stuff. And he moved into sort of jazz fusion, playing with a certain Miles Davis. And then with guitarist John McLaughlin, he started the Mahavishnu Orchestra in 1971, which was one of the first jazz fusion sort of bands. Um, Quite niche, but well known within that sector. So this is his debut album, Spectrum, 1973. Um, I think it does sound of its time, but it also sounds incredibly modern as well at the same, sort of like both. Um, it was a big splash. It got to #1 in the Billboard Jazz charts and number 26 in the mainstream Billboard charts, which I think
Yeah.
for an instrumental album of jazz fusion is just incredible.
Yeah. 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 For sure.
So the way the album's structured is most tracks have like a little intro track first, which is 1, 2, 3 minutes long, and then you have the main track. This one, Stratus, it's all in one, so it's actually a 9 minute song. But the first 3 minutes are basically cymbal splashes and other shit. So this guy on YouTube very kindly edited it out So that's why you don't get it in this version. You get it straight from the start where the bass just kicks in.
Okay.
So personnel: Billy Cobham, percussion; Tommy Bolin, guitar; Jan Hammer, electric piano and moog; and Lee Schuyler, bass. So we've got some stuff on the album here. Ken Scott, who's the engineer of Spectrum, recounted Billy Cobham's drum. I mean, Billy Cobham is probably seen as one of the top drummers ever, and definitely the top jazz fusion drummer, which is a high accolade. He's up on there with all the rest, And this album, when it came out, I think blew the drumming community's mind in terms of his technique and what he did. So he said his Billy Cobham's drums were treated in exactly the same way as I record every other drummer. I just use more mics. One other thing, in order to dampen the snare, Bill just laid his wallet on the top head. There you go. So Leland Skylo, who plays the bass, said Spectrum is such a benchmark for so many people. There was a sort of fire in it. You can tell he's a musician talking. There was new ground, and it wasn't very analytical. It was more flying by the seat of your pants. That's where great accidents happen, which seems impossible these days. We never did more than a couple of takes on any of it. It was more or less a 2-day record. It went by so fast. Schuyler and Hammer record the music was recorded live and was not edited or fixed in any way afterwards. So what you heard was them just playing it. This recording method captured Tommy Bolin breaking his high E string while soloing on a track, Taurian Matador, and you actually hear him, he's like, yeah, and it just goes, and he moves down to a couple of strings. It's pretty seamless. So just a note about the guitarist, Tommy Bolin. All the guitar parts in this album were improvised completely. Bolin called himself an entirely self-taught guitarist who played by ear. He couldn't read music. He stated, I've only ever had 4 lessons. I don't know any scales at all. I know what to play, but just don't know any scales because I've never bothered to learn them. So I think that, when you hear that, is just remarkable.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these guys are just like that on there. After Richie Blackmore left Deep Purple in 1975, the band had a meeting and discussed whether to disband or try and find a replacement. David Coverdale had been listening to Spectrum and decided he wanted Bolin and Deep Purple. So he invited him over for a jam, and after 4 hours playing with the band, the job was his. So they recorded an album together, Come Taste the Band. I'm not a Deep Purple fan, but obviously they're a big name. Yeah. Deep Purple then had a fairly disastrous tour in Japan. There were issues with the band, drug and alcohol. And before a concert in Tokyo, Bolin had passed out, I think, from drug use and fell asleep in his left arm for 8 hours. At the time of the show, he was only able to play simple bar chords. And the keyboardist, John Lord, having to play many of the guitar parts on the organ. Unfortunately, this album was recorded for a live album called Last Concert in Japan. And despite the fan base begging the record company not to do it, they did issue it in Japan, and it made its way over to Europe and America and was, completely sort of trounced by everybody who heard it. Deep Purple disbanded in 1976. Unsurprisingly. Now, he was doing some solo stuff at the time, Tommy Bolin, as well. And for his final show, he opened for Jeff Beck on December the 3rd, 1976 in Miami. He also posed for his last photograph, sitting backstage with Jeff Beck after the show, that photo appeared in Rolling Stone. And the article in Rolling Stone stated, just before Bolin's final concert, John Marlowe of the Miami News, following an interview with the guitarist, told him, take care of yourself, to which Tommy replied, I've been taking care of myself my whole life. Don't worry about me. I'm going to be around for a long time. Hours later, Bolin died of an overdose of heroin and other substitutes, including alcohol, cocaine, and barbiturates. He was 25 years old.
That's a hell of a cocktail, man. That'll take you down. Jesus.
I mean, Jesus Christ, yeah, you've got to be fucking off your head to mix those things in the first place.
Yeah. Just heroin and coke alone, which are so antithetical to each other, your mind's gonna rip in half, and so's your heart. And then
booze and barbiturates as
that's
well.
What I'm saying. Then you pepper in booze and barbiturates. It's like, holy shit.
It's he double locked down on that one, didn't he? No chance. So back to Billy Cobham. He had a long career. He's released 44 albums as either a solo artist or a band leader, the last one being last year in 2023. And he has also played with, besides the aforementioned Miles Davis, etc., he's played with James Brown, Ron Carter, Gil Evans, Roberta Flack, Peter Gabriel, Billy Harper, Quincy Jones, Sonny Rollins, Carly Simon, John Anderson, and loads of other people who I'm not familiar with, so I don't know if it's worth mentioning them or not. So I could say so and so, and
There.
or I've missed out these people that are really famous. I apologize. Cobham was inducted into the Modern Drummer Hall of Fame in 1987. Um, All Music said of him, generally acclaimed as fusion's greatest drummer, Billy Cobham's explosive technique powered some of the genre's most important early recordings, including groundbreaking efforts by Miles Davis and the Mahavishnu Orchestra,
Mm.
before he became an accomplished band leader in his own right. At best, Cobham harnessed his amazing dexterity into a thundering, high-octane hybrids of jazz complexity and rock and roll aggression. And it says Cobham's influences, you'll like this bit, stretched far beyond jazz. He influenced progressive rock contemporaries like Bill Bruford of King Crimson, and later ones like Danny Carey of Tool.
Hmm.
Prince and Jeff
Danny
Beck both
Carey
played.
is an amazing drummer too, by the way.
Yeah, apparently, he
Yeah.
real big fan of Cobham. Yeah, both Prince and Jeff Beck played a version of this song when they did their live gigs. So there you go.
Look at
That's
you pulling out
interesting.
some stuff that's connected to Prague adjacent. How
Yeah,
about
yeah. But it goes up to the line, it pulls a funny face and runs away again.
it? That's just good enough for you, right?
Yeah. Cool. Well, I should wrap things up.
Yeah,
Thanks
those are
for listening,
amazing.
Sandy. This is a fun track. I mean, the album's
Lots of
really
fun.
cool. Really, really cool. It's very interesting. And it is some of the best drumming I've ever heard.
Oh, it's the drumming is outstanding. I mean, the guitar is
It's
too, but the
not,
drumming is.
yeah. And obviously, Jan Hammer's a well-known person as well. So, yeah, really interesting how this small band of musicians come together and produce some amazing stuff, lightning in a bottle over 2 days, one or two takes.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Fuck it out. There you go. Play it like it's you're playing it live in front of audience every single time, I think, and that's the way to do it.
Broken string be damned.
Yeah. He's probably too off his face to notice.
Yeah, right.
He's got upside down. Anyway. Right. Folks out there, tell us what you think of this. You're familiar with Billy Cobham? You're familiar with Spectrum or this track, Stratus? And how it links into Massive Attack as well, which is really why I picked it. But it is an awesome tune as well. So let us know what you think. Please drop some comments. We'd love to hear from you. Hit the like button if you like this as well. And if you haven't subscribed already, well, I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you did, as long as you subscribe. And if that doesn't convince you, I don't blame you. But we really appreciate everybody who does support the channel, even the Backstreet Boys. So that being said, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see all of you on the next episode of the Audiophiles.
See you later, guys.